Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope on this really nice Tuesday night, October 7th. Got a great show with you for tonight. Uh, Going to get into that crazy episode there with Mark Sanchez. Talk a little bit about that. Just finished watching last night's game, the Jaguars and Chiefs, and I wanted to blame the refs and everything, but the Chiefs gave that game away. The Chiefs have nobody to blame but themselves after watching every play of that particular game. Also, going to give you my Power Five. Give you my Power Five. We'll go over that as well. Just a lot to get to tonight. Dylan Gabriel still the starter with Cleveland, but Joe Flacco has been traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. You rarely see an in-division trade like that, but Bengals are getting desperate. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and I'll be back here momentarily, and we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope.
Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
All righty, then I'm back here live. Okay, now, I'll be say this. I was 2-3 in the five biggest games picks this week, okay? And I like a league that has a weekend of upsets like we had last weekend. You know, Denver over Philadelphia, Jacksonville, mentioned that last night over Kansas City. By the way, that's the first they were 0-8. They were 0-8 against Kansas City before last night. Trevor Lawrence not ever beat Patrick Mahomes before last night's game. But, you know, Tampa over Seattle. Tennessee was over a touchdown underdog against Seattle or against Arizona. And, of course, New England over Buffalo. Although I took a few of these this weekend, I lost some money. The favorites this weekend, you don't want a league that's overly predictable. And I get a sense that some of these games started to get that way. The team with the better quarterback, a somewhat healthier team, you're just going to pick that team and probably not. I find myself watching less and less of the games per se. And, but I tell you what, those upsets, they were interesting games, you know. But like I said, I noticed myself turning off games. Bills, for example, seemed a little complacent Sunday night. The Eagles, I've been saying this, seemed a bit complacent all season, offensively all season long. And when those teams still win games, they just seem boring to me, you know. These teams needed a wake-up call and realize the issues they have to address. It's exciting, folks, to see a lesser team or quarterback to win and keep the viewers engaged. You know, that's my sense of the weekend last weekend. Like I said, lost a few dollars, wagered a few of them, nothing major, of course. But when they're too predictable, you just glance back and forth. But when you really don't know who's going to win, kind of like that Oregon and Penn State game a few weeks ago in the college game, you stay tuned in, you know? You stay tuned in, and it's good football. It's not like it's just two bad teams. But that was my sense for this whole weekend. Okay. There was a movie called About Last Night. About Last Night. Let's go to it. I was going to go on here. I was watching. By the way, well, I ordered Netflix again to watch the Terrence Crawford fight there a few weeks ago on Netflix. And I immediately canceled. But once you order it, you pay that month. So you got that month. So I'm watching a lot of stuff on Netflix. The Charlie Sheen documentary was pretty good. I eat little nuts there. But also, there was a movie on there, Hateful Eight, with Quentin Tarantino and Samuel Jackson. I was watching a little bit of that last night. And back and forth, I was watching the game on my phone. Noticed Kansas City's up 14-0 early in the game. I thought maybe they'll get this and they'll take care of business. I like the way they played the last few weeks. And, I think they got a little bit complacent in that game. They had a lot of penalties in this game. Matter of fact, 13 penalties for 109 yards. And also, I didn't think that Devin Lloyd interception, I didn't think Kansas City gave a proper effort to run him down 99-yard. That's some Ed Reed stuff right there. But I thought he was in a lot of traffic. I think some of those players with a better effort could have stopped him on that play, but they didn't. They're assuming that Pat Mahomes is going to take care of everything. But they outgained Jacksonville in that game, yardage-wise. They got to Trevor Lawrence. But, hey, listen, they had some grit about them. They could have folded. Last year's team in Jacksonville, they would have folded in that game. Doug Peterson coach team folds in that game. We saw Doug Peterson coach Jacksonville Jaguar teams be bad on the on special teams and whatnot and effort and everything. But Liam Cohen, this head coach here, I think he's the real deal. Now, it's early, but listen, this team is 4-0. They coughed away a few. They're 2 or 3 plays away from being 5-0, beating Cincinnati. The Cincinnati game was the game where Joe Burrow got hurt, and Browning ended up beating him. So listen to Cohen after the game. I think this guy's really good. I think he does take control of the room. Kind of overlooked him because he's very young. He comes over from Tampa. Felt like a knee-jerk reaction. But listen to Coach here after the game. This is in the Jacksonville Jaguars locker room. On Trevor Lawrence's 26th, you heard that right, his 26th birthday, he beats the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Listen to it.
Guys, talk about resilience. Down 14-0. Come back. One play at a time. How about Devin Lloyd? Think about it. All 3 phases made a huge impact in that ball game. All 3 phases. Guys, not much we do is truly the most pretty thing in the world. But guess what, man? Guess what? Guess what? Winning feels good. Winning feels real good. So, man, we got to be honest. Guys, it's not easy to win in this league. It's not. And for us to keep taking steps. Guys, we compete our off. That's the reality, man. That's the reality. We compete our off, and good will happen. I'm proud of you guys. What a great opportunity for us, our team, our fan base. Great opportunity, and you guys stepped up to that challenge, man. Really proud of you guys. And we got a great opportunity, guys, coming back again next week to just keep stacking blocks, guys. This is about us. Let's clean this up. But, guys, I'm so proud of you guys, man. I'm so proud of the way you compete. And I'm so proud to be your coach. Yes, sir. So proud to be your coach. Great job. Trevor Lawrence, get us a break. Let's go.
Happy birthday. 26 years old. And you listen, I said this from the beginning of the year. This guy's on his third head coach. He's supposed to have been the greatest thing since sliced bread, coming out of Clemson, wins a national championship as a freshman, beats Alabama, big bad Alabama with Clemson. There were some opinions out there of scouts and sports prognosticators saying that he would have been a number 1 overall pick, even if he would have came out as freshman year. Had issues coming into the league that with the first 2 coaches, Urban Meyer and, of course, Doug Peterson, getting rid of the football, injuries, too much of a lanky stride or whatever. He's a long strider is what I was trying to say. A lot of stuff not going in his direction. And this year so far, that particular game, that particular play, he made some big throw. He made a throw to Brian Robertson up the sideline. And when there was a minute and 45 left, that last drive there was very Eli Manning to Mario Manningham. It was great coverage. Great coverage. They had a guy covering him and they had safety help. It was very Eli to Mario Manningham in the Super Bowl. Okay. Wasn't quite as pretty as that game, but it was pretty close. It was pretty close. And so far, so good. They're 4-1. I picked them to win the AFC South. They're getting better from a defensive standpoint. And of course, Travis Hunter, big cat. Travis Hunter, and he played about 80 snaps, I want to say. 75, 80 snaps last night. Made some big catches and not as good as Brian is it Brian Robertson, the lead receiver there, but made a big catch across the middle and in traffic there. He's shown to be, he is legit at that receiver position. Now, can he hold up for the whole season? I don't know. It's still October. It's early. But I like what they're doing right now, and you'll see in the Power 5 how much love and respect I have for this Jacksonville team. And I love the fact that they had their old uniforms on. Hey, listen, I'm associating everything with winning. When they used to wear those uniforms prior to last night, those original uniforms were those Mark Brunell 98, 99 uniforms where they got into the AFC Championship game, won 14 games. Remember that they ultimately lost to the Titans. But those uniforms are associated with winning. But listen, like I said about Kansas City, man, 4 for 20. This was not a lot of home calls here like I thought some of them were. You're going to get that at home. Excuse me. But 4 for 25 yards for Jacksonville penalty-wise. Kansas City, 13 penalties for 109 yards. And that last penalty, I wanted to say, I knew that was going to be a BS home call. But that last penalty to put them on the 1-yard line, the guy for Kansas City was guarding the Jacksonville player with his back to the defense. It was 110% the right call. And I'm thinking, man, are you idiot? It wasn't the dumbest move is the player from Arizona. I'll talk about that one tomorrow against Tennessee that threw the ball, that fumbled the ball through the end zone trying to showboat. But either way, good win. Jacksonville is going to be ticked off next week. They play Detroit next week, and I almost want to pick Kansas City. Kansas City going to play Detroit next week. I almost want to pick them because I know they are really – once they look at that game film and say, man, we gave that game away. Man, bad penalties, bad effort on the pick six, the 99-yard Devin Lloyd play, and the 14 points in general. What are you thinking? 14 points. You can't give up a 14-point lead like that. Matter of fact, they never have under Mahomes until last night. So, like I said, makes the game interesting. You don't want the game to be too predictable per se, but it was. Okay. All righty then. Another big game, big shocker. Sunday night, New England and Buffalo. Watched about 20 minutes of that game, and I thought to myself, Buffalo looks complacent. New England looks like they want it more. I know Buffalo's the better team. And again, very similar situation to the Kansas City game. You know, you got Josh Allen had 2 turnovers, but they did outgain. They outgained New England. They had the ball longer than New England, but New England, like I said at the beginning of the season, preseason, picking these games, the Mike Vrabel effect to these games is real. The Mike Vrabel effect, where he gets these guys like Tennessee, for example. When he first took over at Tennessee, Marcus Mariota was a quarterback. And Mariota, as an NFL quarterback, he's too quiet. He's almost shy. Terrible interview. Not a good communicator. Very good athlete. Good one week, not so good. One of the most, inconsistent NFL quarterbacks I've ever seen. And I remember Dallas was big favorites over Tennessee. 7-8 points. That's a lot in the NFL. 7-8 points. ESPN, talking about that. It was Monday night game, talking Dallas all day. All day. You see it? Man, I'm at work, walking around. TV's on Sports Center. They one Get Up or whatever. One of those sports shows, ESPN shows. Stephen A. Smith with the cowboy hats on and going in. They're doing the show. They do all their little shows there. The car wash. The Dallas this, Dallas that. And Tennessee went on the road and beat them in Dallas on Monday Night Football. And I thought to myself, he took a guy like that, a quarterback like Mariota, who had confidence problems, and running and physicality of Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, and the personality of a Mike Vrabel, really picking this team up, getting their confidence back. Same thing with Tennessee when they lost in 21, I want to say. Excuse me, I got a cough. Been a little under the weather, to say the least. I'm always a little bit under the weather when it comes to my allergies. But same thing with Vrabel when Derrick Henry went down for a few weeks in the 2021 season. They go out west to play the Rams, Monday Night Football. Rams, big favorites. Not only does Tennessee show up, they show out and dominate the Rams, physically dominate, turn them over, ran the ball over with a backup running back, played really well, won the game going away, and really showed up big for them. They were playing the Chargers. They ain't beat the Chargers since I don't know when, especially the Phillip Rivers Chargers. I don't remember them ever beating the Chargers. They were like 0-10 or something, some crazy stat like that, going back to Jeff Fisher. And when they finally beat the Chargers back in 2019, I was shocked, man. So I really thought that they were going to win a Super Bowl with him. But it was the same effect with this New England Patriot team. And I wanted to get that clip, and I don't think I got it. Let me see if I got it here.
Okay, 2.5 sacks, 2.
Oh, that's Dan Campbell, another great coach. I didn't get that clip, but there's a clip, and this is Vrabel going back to Tennessee, where when the players are coming in after the game, the camera's there, and he hugs every single player. Every single player. And the one I did get a chance to download, I didn't get a chance to upload it here, was with Stephon Diggs, former Buffalo Bill, 10 catches, 140. I mean, it was the game of his life up to this point. He's in his 30s now. Cardi B's pregnant. His career is just about over with. He said it was personal, but he got the game ball. Mike Vrabel gave him the game ball. And they beat a team that a lot of us are picking, myself included, to win the Super Bowl and win the whole thing. So the Vrabel effect is in place. And the good news about you and I said this in April, folks, when they drafted Matt Campbell with the number 4 pick and not Mason Graham and not a defensive player, the left tackle, which turned out to be great, by the way, so far. I said, this is big because he is not picking the players. They have a general manager picking the players. That is exactly what you want out of New England. You do not want him picking a player. So you've got the great. And like I said, I wanted him to stay at Tennessee, but I didn't want him picking the players. We've seen that with Bill Belichick. We've seen it in Mike Holmgren. I know that Jimmy Johnson was picking the players with Dallas back in the day, but I think eventually, the longer he did that and try to juggle 2 jobs, they were going to hit a down. They were going to hit a dry streak there in Dallas eventually. But I just think the sky's the limit with this team. With Drake May didn't even have a passing touchdown in that game. That was just a gritty win. Got the running back touchdown. So it was not like one player played Hercules. It was good team football. And Buffalo, a lot like Kansas, played a little complacent in that game. They'll come back from this. But the Vrabel effect is real. It's real. And they're a team to watch, probably a sleeper to potentially get in the playoffs with what's going on with other great teams like Baltimore, looking like they're probably out of it already. Cincinnati, we thought I had them in the playoffs. Both of them's got major injury concerns, So good win there for the New England Patriots. I'm sure Keith Ingle, who I had on a week ago, is on cloud 9 right now. All righty then. Let's see. Speaking of Cleveland, Joe Flacco. Remember last week when I said, talked about Dylan Gabriel getting the starting nod over Joe Flacco. I thought that and he wasn't bad last week. But I want to say it was Kevin Stefanski that I read. It was a him or management. It don't make no difference. But the Cleveland Browns organization said if Gabriel, and I didn't believe him because I know who owns the team. Ownership says it's going to go one way. It's going to go one way. But they said that if Flacco, if Gabriel don't work out, which he got the start in Europe, in London last week, that they're going to go back to Joe Flacco and not play Shedeur Sanders. And I thought that's not true. They're going to play Shedeur Sanders. So today, with the switch of late round picks, I think it's like a 6 or 7. It's nothing huge. They traded in division. That's really odd, but sometimes it does happen. It's not totally out of the ordinary. They traded with Cincinnati and with the higher pick swap. And, of course, Cincinnati now has Joe Flacco because Cincinnati's averaging they're getting blown out by an average. The last 3 games, 25-point average. They are getting their teeth kicked in without Joe Burrow. I think a lot of that's on the defense and a lot of that's on Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's starting to look like the coach before Joe Burrow got there, And, of course, it's just a bad owner anyways. He's always going to cut corners. He's super cheap, But I'm telling you right now, now that there's two, Shedeur Sanders, Gabriel, let me look over his stats last week. He wasn't that bad. I want to say, he was 19 of 33, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he ran for 5 yards. They lost 21-17. I picked that win I didn't have a great week. That was one of the few games I did pick right. He's going to get the start probably a few more times, not unless he gets injured. I do think they're going to give him ample opportunity, and then that they will give Shedeur a shot at it. Now, that being said, Deshaun Watson's coming back from Achilles injury. Thought he might come back this month. I have not read that. That was going back to the summer reading up on him. There haven't been any new reports on him. I think they just want to wait out this contract and get rid of Watson personally. That was one of my biggest wrongs, saying that he was going to work out with them. The guy simply just didn't put forth the effort. He did not grow. He got that guaranteed money. He said, you know what? Everybody don't like me in Cleveland. The league, the fans around the league think that they've already got this narrative in my head, rightfully so, 20-something lawsuits about with the massage parlors and all that crap. But I just think he stopped really caring as much as I thought he would, and it's blown up in the Cleveland Browns' face here. And I endorsed it 110%, and I admit I was wrong. That being said, they're kind of playing musical quarterbacks right now. They got the number one defense in the league yard-wise. You know, they got some players on defense. But I think if they lose a few more, they've got this trade deadline coming up in November. I would deal Myles Garrett for picks personally. You know, I'd deal some of them defensive players and try to continue to build through the draft. But that's just my opinion. Okay? All right. So that is that. And Deion Sanders says, listen, I don't care about the Cleveland Browns. They said, I love me some Shador. So in case you're wondering, they did ask Dad about it, who's having a procedure. He's had some kind of procedure done to help him with blood clots. Thoughts and prayers with Deion Sanders. And after that story, let's go to the Power 5 here. Let's go to the Power 5. We'll start off with 5, and then I'll work my way down to number 1. Okay? All right, now, number 5. I just talked about it in the opening rant, Jacksonville. The Jaguars should be 5-0. They're just a player or two off here. Just a few miscues here in that Cincinnati game. That was up in Cincinnati. They had that game won at one point. Jacksonville had some big throws by Browning in that particular game come off, and they end up winning. Some busted coverages defensively. But they would be 5-0. But I got them at number 5. They're 10th. And, you know, as bad as their defense has looked in the past, they're 10th in points allowed defensively. That was their big Achilles last year. They lack late game grit. I talked about that earlier from Doug Peterson. Almost soft at times. This year under Cohen, like I said earlier, 14-0, down 14-0. They really rallied under Cohen. I like his locker room presence so far. I like what I see out of this guy, this head coach here. And I like the moxie that Trevor Lawrence has been lacking as a pro. I like that, what he's lacking, and he's got it right now. Playing really well. 60% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but he's running really well as well, and he's not getting hit too hard. He's playing pretty smart football out there, Trevor Lawrence is. ETN didn't have a great game last night, but that running back, Travis Etienne, 443 yards, 4th in NFL in rushing. They're running the ball. They're 10th. Their defense is tightened up here. I do believe at this point they look to be really well coached. They look to be buying in, okay? So they're number 5 on my Power 5 this week. The Jaguars have sneaked in there. Number 4. It's a little bit of fall here, but I feel vindicated about what I said. I've been saying about the Eagles for weeks now, that the Philadelphia Eagles are looking more and more like the team of 2 years ago, not the team last year. They're not running the ball effectively with Saquon Barkley. Sometimes A.J. Brown looks like a ghost out there. You don't even know if he's in there or not. They look like the team under Brian Johnson. That's the offensive coordinator, one and done, got fired. Remember, they got off. They won like the first 8 or 9 games and then lost 6 of their last 7 or something crazy stuff like that, and got really blown out, sloppy looking in that playoff game against Tampa last year or year before last. That being said, they still, defensively. No, wait a minute. I said they can't run the ball. They're 24th in the league in rushing. Okay. Remember, this guy was an in-house promotion type of guy. This new offensive coordinator they've got here. Not good. Not good. They're probably going to have to make a change. I know this is bizarre, but Philadelphia is a no-nonsense town. This is a no-nonsense owner. This is a no-nonsense organization as a whole. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't fire him in season, or let somebody else call the plays or something like that. That being said, they're still 4-1. They're still 4-1. They still have probably the best talent out there, and they're relatively healthy. And they should have won Sunday. There was a good wake-up call for them, if you ask me. They should have won Sunday. So they're number 4 on my Power 5 Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, Tampa. Despite not having Bucky Irvin and Mike Evans, Rashard White stepped up at running back, and this Emeka Egbuka, man, 162 yards, 7 catches last week. I mean, he is playing out of this world. He is, now it's early, of course. I mean, we're only 5 games in. But right now, he's Rookie of the Year, hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Although Tyler Warren's having a good year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Emeka Egbuka is really killing it. And I'll tell you what, Baker Mayfield, a lot of people ain't really putting it. Baker Mayfield is having a borderline MVP season. What does he got? Like 10 touchdowns? Yeah. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Borderline MVP. And 2 of them games were without his left tackle. Two of them wins there were on the road without Thurston Wirfs. And I just mentioned they didn't have their starting running back in Mike Evans this past week, and they went from Tampa to Seattle and put 38 points. What does that say about Seattle's defense, which is overrated? All them high draft picks by Seattle, and they ain't done nothing. But I'm more hyped about Tampa here. I do feel vindicated about keeping them in my Power 5 last week. They was in Power 5 last week, and they went up a little bit in Power 5 this particular week, this Tampa team. So I got them at number 3, okay? Now, number 2, Buffalo. Despite the loss, I just thought they got complacent. I think Buffalo got a little bored out there, and it looks like that New England wanted that game more. New England was more disciplined in that game, and they just took the game. But despite that loss, they're still 10th in total defense. I do expect them to make a move, either a cornerback or defensive lineman, at the trade deadline coming up in November, because this is their year. That being said, they're 3rd in total offense, 2nd rushing. And Josh Allen, he's probably still the MVP. 70.4 completion percentage, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. This guy, check out these yards. 1,217 yards. We're 5 games into the season. 1,217 yards, and he's ran for 212, 3 touchdowns. He's still playing out all world, but the team lets him down sometimes. And he had some turnovers, He has some turnovers. I got them at number 2. They drop out of the top spot there. Detroit Lions, number 1 team in my power ranking. They just don't look like they have any flaws, man. I'm telling you. Getting David Montgomery back involved last week. Got that good 1-2 running back tandem with him, and Gibbs is kind of small. You want to have a guy to kind of offset Gibbs a little bit. I like the fact they still use Montgomery like that. But they're number 1 in points per game. They do have some injuries at corner. Early on, Terran Arnold, Dan Campbell said he's going to be out for a while, elbow injury. Now reports are, after further evaluation, looks like Terran Arnold may be back towards the end of the month. Now, it's just October 7th, but that's still pretty good because Dan was making it look like he might not come back this year, Dan Campbell. So that's really good, getting back there with Kirby Joseph. And, of course, Brian Branch, who's all world at safety this year. But they got a big game coming up this week against Kansas City. And that's going to be one I'm going to have to study really hard because I don't know who's going to win that game. But excellent front line. Defensively, they're second in sacks. They're seventh in run defense. They're winning the last 4 weeks. They had a lot of double-digit wins. I know they're beating up on a banged-up Cincinnati team and a banged-up Chicago Bear team, but they just look excellent. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, quarterback play. You know, they look like they do not miss Ben Johnson even a little bit. Right now, I would definitely pick them to win the North. Now, maybe the Green Bay Packers wake up and they get hard. Remember that stupid movie with actually, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty funny. The Get Hard movie with Will Ferrell and I forgot the guy's name, black guy. He's in 1,000 movies. He's a comedian. I actually seen the guy. Live, and I can't remember his name. This comedian. Oh God, what is his name? Oh yeah, here's his face, but they don't got his name here. It ain't Chappelle. I'm trying to think. Who was this top guy right here? He comes up on the top. Boy, they give everybody, man. Either way, real short dude. I think that movie Get Hard with him and Will Ferrell's pretty funny. They got his face up here, but they don't have his name, which is funny. Oh, God. I'm going to find it here, just even if I got to hold the show up. So basically, that is basically my Kevin Hart. So I was trying to think of my Power 5. Let's go over to Power 5 again, okay? All right. Now, number 1, Detroit. Number 2, Buffalo. Number 3, who did I have at number 3? Let's go back here to number 3. I had Tampa. Number 4, I have Philadelphia, the Eagles, and number 5, Jacksonville. Now, listen, the Colts are playing really well. You might say, well, let me do that again. Okay, number 5, Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 4, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 2, Bills. Number 1, the Detroit Lions there. Number 1, the Detroit Lions. What's going on there? I've got your Lions there. What's up, brother? Jeremy. What's going on, Jeremy? From Kneecap Biting. I've got your Lions as the number 1 team in my Power 5. I hope I'm not jinxing you guys. I just think their offensive line, defensive line, coaching, quarterback play. Terran Arnold's not going to be out that long at corner. They said he could be out back by the end of the month. I think they're the number 1 team right now in my Power 5. So, and my man says everybody has us number 1 right now. I'd say 2. Okay. I didn't think that I didn't think everybody would have you at number 1, actually. That's interesting, you know, because I know how the national media likes to go other places rather than a place like a Detroit. I thought they still may go with Philly, even though they lost, or they may go elsewhere. But, you know, listen, some may go with Tampa, but I just think Detroit's got all the balance here right now. I guess they really did look good on that Baltimore game, even though Baltimore was healthy. They got beat fair and square by Detroit. Now, they were banged up against Houston. But a team like the Colts, yeah, they're winning big, but who have they beaten? They beat Tennessee, who's one of the worst teams in the league. They beat the Raiders, who has like 1 win, I think. And they beat Miami, who's probably going to fire their coach at the end of the year. So you combine those, I think those teams are like 1-10 or something. I mean, 2 wins with maybe 3. 3-15 or something like that. Combined record. Those are the teams they beat, and the team they lost to, of course, was the LA Rams. Now, they played well against the Rams, but so I would not put them in the Colts that high. So anyways, that's my Power 5. Got to get to this Mark Sanchez stuff, guys. Because nobody else going to talk about it. Fox sure ain't going to talk about it. ESPN, they reported on it because he's a former NFL player. He's calling the games. But I haven't seen any of the panels talk about it on the shows. Now, podcasts of Marcellus Wiley, smart guy. We got a lot of respect. He's got a YouTube channel. I saw that he's talked about the Mark Sanchez thing. But just to get some of you all up to date, Mark Sanchez, Friday, late Friday into Saturday morning around midnight, was Saul doing, this is from multiple reports, by the way, Mark Sanchez, Saul doing wind sprints. Things carved up in Indy Rams defense, Mark Sanchez. Yeah, here we go. Jeremy, my man, Jeremy here with that. Okay, so anyways, let's go with this. All right. Saul doing wind sprints in an alley outside of a hotel and a Long Miller's pub. At a Long Miller's pub. And a man in a box truck backed up to deliver cooking oil to this hotel restaurant around, like I said, around midnight on a routine delivery. Sanchez seemed to be using the alley for these wind sprints. Now, this already sounds crazy, right? At midnight, you're doing wind sprints in an alley outside of a hotel. I don't know. I might call the police and say, is this guy okay? Is there something wrong with this guy? But that makes no never mind. Okay? Back to the story at hand. He tells this guy that he can't park there, which he's playing security now, okay? And the guy says that, he's 69, had hearing aids, and says he reeked of alcohol. Plus, that was also charged with him, public intox on Sanchez as well. But I guess the guy doesn't move. This thing gets physical. Sanchez comes inside this guy's vehicle. You can see his face is cut. This is the 69-year-old gentleman. His face is cut. The guy tries to mace Mark Sanchez, and that doesn't work. Sanchez is still hitting him. He slings him out of the truck. Now, the video ain't been released, but it's going to be released, supposedly. Okay, because this guy's neck had a brace on. I saw the pictures. If you've seen the pictures also, Jeremy, if you've seen the pictures also, and he had a neck brace on his neck. So it looked like he was slung down to the ground out of that truck. That's when he got his knife, and he's stabbing Sanchez to get him off of it. Okay? Long story short, there is a video of Sanchez looking like something off of a horror movie. It's October. Walking down the road, bloody, holding his abdomen, holding his side, looking like something out of a Michael Myers movie or Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something like that. His whole shirt was bloody. There's some video of that that's been released, him walking through. And I saw a video of this gentleman getting into the ambulance. But this guy has a neck brace on. He's cut on the side. Sanchez goes to the hospital. After the police have been called and everything. He goes to the hospital. Originally reported the 38 former quarterback and Fox Sports color guy was in critical condition Saturday morning. He was in critical condition, later becomes in stable condition on Saturday morning. Okay. And you had the public intox, and then of course you also had felony. This was added on. He was charged with unlawful entry of a vehicle, felony battery with seriously bodily harm, was arrested after he was released from the hospital. So, and Jeremy says, I think he's on juice. Okay, so this is, okay. People want to say you have the public intox. Mark Sanchez, folks, my mom watching, my sister, he played big-time college football. He's number 5 for USC, highly sought-after prospect, the number 5 overall pick, New York Jets. Wasn't a bad look. Got the 2 different AFC championship games under Rex Ryan. Really brought him down. Didn't have a really good Sean McVay type of coach or Jim Harbaugh. I think he could have had a much better career if he'd had one of those guys rather than a Rex Ryan type of guy. No offense to Rex Ryan. And I think he played like 9 years in the league. He's a pretty good color guy. I like the guy. He's 38. But I'm giving you all this context to say this. 38 years old, 3 kids. He's in town on Friday night. He's calling the game Sunday. I don't think that I've been crazy blackout drunk before at a young teenage age when I wasn't supposed to be drinking. I've been that before. A lot of us have. Some of us have not. God bless you if you have not. I don't think that. But it's hard to believe that he was actually just drinking alcohol that night. For those of you who don't recall, I know Jeremy remembers this because he's a football guy like I am and follows these stories. But back in 2016, Chandler Jones, former New England Patriot, back in 2016, tried some synthetic marijuana, and he was in a police precinct, walked up to a police precinct acting erratically. He was on his knees, saying people were trying to get him and stuff, and the police took him to the hospital. He gets suspended, not too long, but I think he got suspended for the next game, and later he got moved to Arizona. But I'm thinking, this is just my opinion, this has not been reported. I think either was he taking medication? A lot of former football players, they have nagging injuries, they have pain issues, back issues. Even guys that, he's still pretty young. When a lot of these guys, was he taking a new kind of medication and drinking on that? Did somebody offer him some synthetic marijuana? This doesn't seem like normal, out of control drinking behavior. He's there by himself. There's no reports that he was with a bunch of people drinking. I can't imagine. He says he don't remember any of this stuff, but I just can't imagine that he would this would be a normal drunken spell for a guy 30. Now, first year in college, frat party, you see about guys, alcohol poison, stuff like that, teenage. Not unless he's got a major, major drinking problem, and he could, and then done a really good job hiding it. There seems to be more to this than that. Maybe that'll come out. He's being sued right now. He's being charged with a felony right now with this intent to bodily harm. Maybe he can get a lot of this stuff down. He's going to have to pay out a lot of money. As of right now, not unless it's changed in the last few minutes, he's still employed by Fox. And Jeremy says, I think he's on the juice. There's something else to this, is what I'm saying. My opinion is it's either he's a really bad alcoholic or he's something else there. It's synthetic marijuana. There's another drug mixed in with there. To saying you don't remember jumping on a guy like that and going full-fledged crazy, wind sprints in the parking lot. I mean, that is really, really childish stuff for a guy his age, And it's a bizarre thing. I've liked the guy. Maybe it's a big front. Maybe he's a total jerk off camera. He comes on the Colin Cowherd show all the time, breaking down games, giving his opinion of Caleb Williams and everybody. I've heard him do color. He's one of the better young guys that do cut. I think him and Greg Olson's pretty close to the same age. Former Carolina Panther, Chicago Bear. Greg Olson, I think those guys do great. I don't have any issue with them. You know, I think they were up and coming star. I don't know about stars, but they were pretty good. A lot of the guys I'd turn off. You know, but and the fact that this guy's suing Fox, you just got to wonder if Fox is going to hold on to him, or they'll try to weed him out under the next contract and make it look like they're not kicking him when he's down. But I hope it works out for him. Whatever it is, own it. Grow from. If he does got a problem, maybe if this don't wake him up, nothing will. They said this guy was in critical condition way up in Germany, way up into the morning. I thought he was going to die, you know. And then later on, Saturday afternoon, now it's stable, everything's cool. But I've read when guys are critical or stable, and then they go back to critical and they end up passing away. So I'm glad he didn't die. But if you look at the man he attacked, I mean, that guy's face was cut right across the middle. It looked like maybe he got the knife from the guy and cut him with it. It just looks like a really bad situation all around, you know? And he would have been one of the last guys I would think do something like that, you know? I would think maybe a former linebacker or somebody like that. I can't think of the guy's name, Jeremy, but that linebacker that used to play for Denver, or the linebacker that used to play for, he's long time retired, but he was crazy. Used to take steroids and stuff. He played for Denver. He played for the 49ers. And a lot of you old timers would know his name. I know Pickles was on here. He would know it. But somebody like that, per se. Pac-Man may do something like that. Not a former quarterback. Not a former quarterback. Usually level-headed. But, yeah, I just think there's more to it than just a really bad alcohol spurge. But, hey, you never know. You never know, folks. But I just wanted to end the show on that. I've got Jason Patterson coming in tomorrow, folks. Make sure and stand by for the program. Tomorrow he covers the Arkansas Razorbacks, Pig Trail Nation. For Pig Trail Nation, unless that's changed. I don't think it has. Also, he covers the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm talking about that game they coughed up on Sunday. And I'll get his thoughts about Tennessee and Arkansas going to play on Saturday as well. Get his thought. I got to get everybody's thoughts on this Mark Sanchez situation and whatnot. I think it's a wild, bizarre story. A guy like that get involved in something of that nature. So make sure he'll be back on tomorrow, 30 minutes past the hour, okay? And if you all like the show, share the show. I'll be back on here tomorrow, same time, same place here on the Real Sports Scope. Good night, everybody.